everybody. I'm Becky Liggero, and this is the CoinGeek RoundTable. I'm going to be your host for today, and we are talking about my absolute favorite subject, which is iGaming and blockchain. This is an amazing world that we're about to talk about. Psyched to be here. I'm psyched that you guys are here joining me, and I'm even more excited to introduce you to my guests who you're going to meet in a minute. But just wanted to remind you to please comment, ask questions. We're going to address them as the show goes on. And stick around for just a minute here as we listen to an ad, and we will be right back. Hello, everybody. I'm here with my guests, and before we get started, just wanted to remind you to please like, subscribe, and click that notifications bell so you do not miss a future episodes of the CoinGeek Roundtable. Okay, enough of all the housekeeping. I want to introduce you to my fabulous guests. I'm so excited to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves and give us a few words about the company that you are representing. And just to let the audience know, this is going to run for approximately 55 more minutes or so, and we will take questions throughout the discussion. So please leave them in the chat box so I can see them and ask the appropriate party. But let us start off by getting to know our guests here. So I'm going to start with you, Miles. If you could just introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm Miles Malec. I'm like the CEO of Champions of Otherworldly Magic. It's a trading card game. We're using BSV.
Very good. And Alex.
Hey, Becky, how are you doing? Glad to be here. So I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Handcash, and we started as a Bitcoin company like 6 years ago. And right now we are transitioning into a gaming marketplace.
Amazing. And Pete.
Hi, I'm Pete from Lil Bit. We're an on-chain sportsbook and casino. I've been in Bitcoin since 2013. Would you
Very
want me
good. Okay, great. Okay. Sorry, Pete, I don't know whether you were saying more or that was just your connection. I'm just going to...
Would it be fine I would give my history or something like that, or the history of the company?
Sure, love to hear it. Go ahead.
All right. I got into Bitcoin in 2013, and my first impression of it always was that Bitcoin was built to use in apps for people, to be able to use quickly, efficiently, and again, so being in BSV now, I still feel like the back days of when I was in Bitcoin. When we started in Bitcoin, every day, every week, there was a new app being announced. Some guys building out projects, building out little apps that allowed people to transact fractions of cents in continuation around the world. So in BSV, being in BSV with Handcash, for example, it's one of the best examples how to show how to use BSV. We open the wallet, I send a cent to someone who's on the other side of the country, to the person in front of them, and they understand the process. They understand the problems of transferring money, especially in developing countries. My wife is Dominican. So I would always see her going, every month to send out money, and the process, and the taxing is for Western Union is, absurd for the money that they're sending. Back in the day, too, there was an ad on Reddit about we were making fun of Western Union Bitcoin because you could send it. Western Union was saying send $50 for only $5 in fees or something like that. We made fun of Western Union to the point where Western Union got this ad removed off of Reddit because it was so offensive to them. And from there, I was convinced that we'd always keep on going towards this, integrating it with apps, building it out with apps. Before Bitcoin, the idea of holding was there always, but it was also spending. Like there was Bitcoin Black Friday. When we started, it was huge. It got big. Like the first year with small numbers. The next year it grew. The third year it was even bigger. And I remember even reading projections, people projecting, okay, in 5 years we're going to be doing this many sales. And it was, I thought that Bitcoin becoming a dominant payment system would have happened a long time ago. I was shocked actually when it took the turn it did.
Yeah, and I think that why I'm so excited to have you guys here is that all three of you represent organizations, companies that exist today where you can use Bitcoin and you can do things with it. And you're all live and you're all representing really exciting companies. So I wanted to get the discussion going on how the products and the companies you represent are actually how you have competitive advantages over your competitors, I guess you could say. Miles, I'm going to start with you on this one, because when you and I met in New York City, you were telling me about how there are these, multi-billion-dollar companies, trading card companies that are quite big names out there, but you have a competitive advantage. I think Hearthstone is one of them. Yep. Why is that?
Yeah, Hearthstone, allows people to buy, their trading cards to build their deck or credit cards. And then the difference is once the players buy those cards, they have no way to trade them with, players or sell them on a marketplace or anything like that. And it's, all of these digital card games like Hearthstone have the same issue. That none of them allow any trading or marketplace. So, that's a huge part. That's called trading card games, TCGs. So like leaving that aspect out, we feel like that, market hasn't been entirely fulfilled. So, it offers us a significant competitive advantage, especially when, we're in the process now of allowing the cards to be purchased with credit card the same way they are on Hearthstone. And we're just using BSV on the back end to facilitate all the trading and sales.
Yeah, I think you said you have quite a nimble team, a small team, so you can make decisions quickly and move quickly, which I think is quite cool. Yeah. Great. And Pete, I know when you and I were discussing that there's quite a few operators out there in the gambling space that consider themselves quote unquote crypto casinos, and really the only thing that they are doing is accepting cryptocurrency or digital currency, and that's it, and everything else is the same. And you were saying that there's no innovation in that. So can you give us a quick explanation of what you're doing a little bit, how it is different than your competitors out there?
Yeah, one of the main things I have when I talk to people about crypto, one of the first things I always ask them is, have you done a Bitcoin any kind of transaction, Ethereum, anything? And I always get the same answer. It's like, yeah, I bought some Bitcoin or on Kraken or on Bitstamp or something like that, and they don't understand that Bitcoin is to be used as a technology. Like, send it, receive it, cents, fractions of cents. They don't, or no one is using it. So what the goal for what we did is to actually use the technology itself. If you place a bet, you're sending the money to us. When you win the bet, it's paid out back to the wallet that was that sent the original bet. This is using the technology, not just using it as a deposit mechanism. And again, they're just recreating the existing system. So, for example, stake, I don't see anything innovative in it, because it's just, okay, you're depositing in Bitcoin and they allow you to withdraw in Bitcoin. But if they can get hacked, they're holding your money. It's all the same structure as the existing system. So to me, a stake is, other than, they allow you to bet in Bitcoin, but no Bitcoin is actually moving.
Yep. But I know that you and I were talking about how there could be an operator that closes shop overnight, right? And then if your money is in there, you lose your money. But with a company like yours, where the bettor is betting, their money is coming straight in and out of their wallet. There's no middleman. You're not acting as a bank at all.
Yes.
So I think that's quite cool.
I'm not holding all user funds and just kind of
No.
giving them messages if they won or lost.
Yeah.
We're paying out immediately on chain. There's all on our bet slips as well. If you look at a stake bet slip, they'll tell you, you bet 1.2 Bitcoin to win 1.5. But there's no on chain, no Bitcoin moved, nothing. So to me, that's not using the technology at all.
Totally. And we'll get into the on-chain versus off-chain a bit later in the discussion. Great. And Alex, I wanted you to talk about the new game economy. I know that Handcash shifted their focus from being a wallet to actually a game economy, which I think is an ecosystem. Which I think is really cool. And how are you doing things differently? What's the new game economy?
Well, first of all, I think that it's not something new for us. Over 50% of our clients in the last few years have been gaming companies, and I think there's one thing that all of them have in common is that they are looking for new ways to disrupt the way that things are done, especially in terms of business model and making money out of their game and out of their gamers. And we, thanks to the unique opportunities and features that you can get through using Bitcoin or the blockchain, you actually can push the boundaries of what's possible in terms of game monetization. So one of the things that, or especially I think the main thing that we want to solve is that currently, most games annoy with grindy gameplay those who do not want to spend their way to the victory, right? What is called pay to win. So with Handcash, you can integrate player-to-player item trading, wagers, and rewards, while game developers can take a cut on an increasing number of transactions. And this results in fun and profitable business models for both for developers and gamers. And I think it's essential to fix that imbalance that right now there's in the market, because when we had things like Apple Pay and mobile gaming, starting to steer the focus from selling the game to selling you game advantages. So the more you pay, the better you are in the game. So those are things that are making games worse and pissing people off. And it's something that users don't like it. It's not. I don't think it's developers' fault or that the game publishing companies are evil. It's just that the current set of tools that they have for monetization are very limited. And we think that enabling peer-to-peer commerce is the key to unlock all of these opportunities.
Amazing. And for those of our viewers that do not know, Champions TCG is actually part of this game economy at Handcash. And hopefully Lil Bit will be eventually too. That's very cool. I love seeing all of you guys work together in this lovely mission of ours here. We do have a question. I think you've touched on a lot of this, Alex, already, but just to answer it now, from Simpsons BSV. As one of the leading wallets, how do games help your business fulfill its vision?
I think the easiest answer to that would be that, they are showing us the way. They're showing us what we are building, things that are uniquely positioned in the market to actually take them to the next level in terms of monetization and digital ownership. I think the biggest thing that all of our companies are doing is that the digital ownership of your identity, funds, and digital items on the same platform. I think that's what gives us an edge over all those closed old school companies. And it just works like magic. Like you only need one account and your funds, KYC information, digital items, everything is in there. And you are in control of those things instead of having your information spread across so many platforms all over the web. And that's great, especially for things like privacy, security, but most of all, I think for sovereignty. I think that over time, every platform trying to create its own kind of closed network, it's detrimental to users' interest.
Very good. Thank you so much, Alex. And one of the most exciting topics, I think, at the intersection of iGaming and blockchain is the use of micropayments, small payments, nano payments. It's quite unique, and you need a particular blockchains in order to do this, maybe just one blockchain. So I wanted for all three of you to talk a bit about micropayments for us. And I'm going to start back over with you, Miles, here to talk about how you utilize micropayments at Champions TCG and how much do people need to pay to buy cards. What are you doing with micropayments in your company?
Yeah, I mean, like the micropayments in our company would just be like, some of our cards, it's in the physical world. When you go to a card shop, Magic the Gathering, some of these you can buy cards for 10 cents, 5 cents. Sometimes on this market, on the Handcash market as well, there's like cards that are a penny and stuff like that. So, people are buying cards that they can actually use in the game for just a few cents. And that's the only way we're using micropayments. What we've kind of learned in the first 6 months or so is you don't want to throw that stuff in people's face. We're really trying to hide all of that stuff, buy the cards with credit card, and you're only going to interact with BSV and micropayments and all that if you decide you want to go and sell it. So obviously our game, we could put every move on chain and all of that kind of stuff, but we just think, what we've learned is real gamers, they don't care about any of that stuff. What I think we need to do is recreate games that are, could compete with the Web 2 version or Hearthstone in our example, just head to head, no, blockchain usability. And if we can compete with them there and then introduce all of these additional things, I mean, it gives us a significant competitive advantage rather than the game just being cool because it's on Bitcoin. It needs to be cool in general. And then we just use Bitcoin to take it to the next level. So that's our main focus right now.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, and Pete, I know over a Lil Bit, obviously the idea of being able to wager in a super small amount is a big thing with your brand, considering it's in your name. Yeah. Tell me how you're using micropayments. What's the smallest amount that someone can bet? What's happening with the little bits of money over there?
You can bet up to a 1,000th of a cent on any sports game. Right now, we also have a Plinko game where we built out in order to show how Bitcoin works. They're both the name of the company is based on being able to do small, quick microtransactions, and in everything we built out from the sports book to the Plinko game to our referral system, which also incorporates micropayments. We try to use it in almost everything. For example, even the leaderboard today, we end the leaderboard. We have a leaderboard where we pay out return on investment. So it's not who bet the most, who won the most over the week. It's who bet correctly. And even if the person is making 1 cent bets all day long, he can win the jackpot of the week in micropayments just by making micropayments. And also the referral system. We have a referral system where if you refer your friend, you get a percentage every time they bet, when they bet. And that is, again, also taking advantage of the micropayments because if your friend bets $1, you'll get 1 cent instantly.
Cool.
So
cool. Yeah, also referrals, affiliates, all that kind of stuff I have on the list for a bit later in the discussion. So that's great to mention that now. I was laughing earlier because, Alex, someone said you're very handsome. Carlo did make me laugh in the comments. Love the comment. Beautiful. But seriously, Alex, I know that small payments is in your DNA at Handcash, although you might not shout about it on your website, and because you want regular people to be using Handcash, not just those that are familiar with what micropayments even means. But tell me why this is at the core of what you do. And I think we have a question in there about Handcash, so I will find that while you're answering what micropayments are for your business model, what part they play.
Okay, so micropayments are not what we sell, but it's what enables everything that we do. So as Miles said, we have this marketplace. We are building something called Handcash Portal, and it's so cool that it has a marketplace, and next week or so people will be able to log in with their Handcash accounts over there, and that's going to be our main product, the main product for Handcash. And it's going to be super cool because you can be trading digital items with other users live and all that, and it's so cool. But I want to mention maybe two features that make them very interesting for any business model. One is that, especially for the kind of technology we are using here, like Bitcoin SV, in this case, we can have up to 1,000 participants on one single payment. So what that means is that we are in the marketplace, and just imagine that for every payment, the seller gets paid, we get paid, and Miles gets paid. All of that in one single transaction without having to any of us become money transmitters. And that's huge, because if you know all of the implications of regulatory compliance of doing these complex payments with the current with current technology like PayPal or whatever, one, it's almost impossible, and then you need to be like holding the money and then sending the money like once a week or something. It's super complicated to deal with. And right now we have this partnership with Miles, and they're selling their cards on our marketplace. And if they're like, I don't know, 7,000 sales, there are 7,000 payments that are automatically distributed across all participants. And that's huge for accounting and for peace of mind, and everyone knows that they're not getting screwed and all that. It's great for transparency too, when you have multiple parties. And another one is that that we are using one common language of money across all people in the world. And that's huge, because it doesn't matter if this guy is from Japan and the other guy is in New Zealand and I'm in Spain and the other guy is in Florida. We all get paid at the same time with the same transaction. And it's just incredible. Like 6 years in using this technology, I'm still amazed every time that I see one of these payments go through. It's just like, it's so cool. We're still having a lot of headaches with regular banks and mobile and other payment systems, and this just works so well. And it still surprises me that it hasn't become the norm yet, but I think it will.
Yeah, me too. Very nice. And the question that I was talking about is just a quick one. Someone's asking about being able to top up at Handcash. Are people able to do that?
Yeah, sure. It's not that they're temporarily disabled. We are switching the liquidity provider for the fiat ramps. It's going to take maybe 1 day or 2 more days. But they will be up and running pretty soon. And also we are looking into other alternatives to offer more payment methods very, very soon. So anyway, stay tuned. In a few days, it's going to get much, much better.
Very cool. And actually, I'm going to stay with you, Alex, for just a second here, because I'm going to ask about how users are able to make and receive payments at all of your companies. So at Handcash, I know stable coins or something that you were looking into. How can people get money in and out? If I'm a user, what do I need to do?
Well, if you're a new user, you can get your Handcash QR code and send and share it across Twitter or whatever you want, and people can send you money. Some people do when they are, hey, I have a new account at Handcash or whatever, and people normally tip them something to get started. But the easiest way is just get your credit card and go to there's a button that says buy. You put your credit card information over there, and you can buy amounts from $5 to $500 worth of BSV. And as you said, with stablecoins, we are working on the integration of a particular stablecoin. The thing is that it's kind of secret for now.
Yeah.
But I cannot mention any names. We haven't made it public yet, but I think it's going to take us to the next level, because it's the only thing that we still cannot hide from a regular crypto experience. So once we have that, then we can hide all of the blockchain complexity to the background, because some people still tell me like, oh, but I used to have like $500 and now there are $300. What happened? Why did you take the money from me? And you have to explain like, no, you own Bitcoin and it's here, like BSV, and they think that that's a serial number or whatever. People who are years in using crypto and all that, most people are still more lost than people realize. So by just using stable coins and just saying this is dollars and you have items and you have these cards or whatever, we make it normal for everybody. We don't even show the keys. We are working on a great user experience in terms of, people are going to be able to get a Handcash account without even knowing when onboarding to with their email address on Champions TCG. There's other two apps like Lamint and Haste that already implement this. And it's so cool because you're just using your email address, you get an account, you don't even know about this. But when you want to use the market, you just go to the market, log in with the same account. Ultimately, we want to make it as normal as possible because otherwise we cannot convince regular people to join.
Yeah. And Miles, you mentioned that you want regular people playing your card game that don't know anything about Bitcoin. So anything to add there about how your users are able to move their money around?
No, yeah, we're working like really close with Alex and Handcash and all that, and they offer a unique product. And yeah, in our case, it's like somebody sold a card for 7 cents, and then BSV moves and it's worth 6 cents, and it's not a big deal, but something clicks in your brain, like what's going on here? Like no one like opens up their wallet in real life the next morning and there's like $2 in there and there was 3 last night. You'd be like, what's going on? So it's just like, yeah, like Alex said, people are, I'd say more lost than ever in the whole crypto space, not just, and it's like a nightmare. So just, you lose people immediately when they hear these keywords. It's not just crypto. It's like wallet is bad. Like, NFTs is obviously bad, like all of that stuff. We're out here trying to talk to influencers and people who have no idea, they stay away from crypto. So as we're like going through our spiel of our game, like we, say things and then we see their eyebrows raise, and it's like changed our pitch over the last few months. But yeah.
It's interesting because I come from the online gambling space, and I know that there are quite a few players that get really excited when they see that there's a Bitcoin casino, or that maybe not a huge percentage, but there are a lot. And I know that Pete, a little bit, the word Bitcoin is all over your site, so there's no hiding that there is Bitcoin involved. So how do players get money in and out of your site, Pete? What kind of wallet do you offer? How do you handle all of these words such as Bitcoin and wallet? Are they sensitive? Are they what you want to put in front of your players? What do you think about that?
Well, when we were deciding to build out Lil Bit, this was a couple of years back, we gave a bunch of our friends who know nothing about crypto. No, they might know some buzzwords or something like that, but they know nothing. We gave them Handcash and we gave them some money. And, we introduced them to some of the apps that they could play using Handcash. It was Called It Club and Peer Game. And we just observed them and to see what if they understood what was going on, if they understood how to play. They did notice the up and down money thing, right? Which in our industry sometimes is almost an advantage. These are people gambling already, so it's like gambling on gambling. But the idea is, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Maybe I can add something meanwhile. So with gambling applications, what we realized is that one of their biggest pain points when you talk to online casinos and all that is that onboarding users is so hard because they have to go through KYC for every new sign up. And once they do, which only like 6% of people on average in that industry finish the setup, then they have to add a payment method that normally is not compatible with the casino, or because it's sometimes, for example, I use TransferWise, PayPal, whatever. They're not okay with online gaming. So you have to get, different accounts for using online gaming sites. So I think that's why crypto is great for this. Because you remove all of that complexity and it's just a wallet and peer-to-peer transactions, and it should work. I mean, it should be very hard. I mean, it's kind of the opposite way of with traditional payment methods. Like it's easier with crypto for these kind of applications.
Yeah, I know with online gambling, it can be tricky too. It depends on where your players are coming from and where you're licensed and all sorts of things. I know that's a whole other roundtable for another day. But Pete, I think when we were talking before, you were telling me that you have your own wallet, and it's very easy for people to send their payments around, and it's all in Bitcoin, I believe. I don't think it's in fiat or anything like this.
It's in Bitcoin, but we allow people, like within the wallet itself, we put as the standard way of sending out money in dollars. So because people understand sending dollars, they don't understand sending, fractions of Bitcoins or anything like that. Right now, we yes, all our bets are in BSV. So if you bet today with us and BSV goes up tomorrow, you will be paid out the BSV, that you were going to win today.
Cool.
What we are doing is looking into, we're kind of sitting back and waiting and looking at some of the solutions that are being built out right now with regarding to fiat, like stable coins and stuff like that. We're not we have not selected anything or going through anything, but we're just kind of sitting back, waiting and taking a look. But it is obviously it is very interesting to incorporate that to eliminate the fluctuation for if someone wants to. Some people want to keep Bitcoin. A lot of people, when you explain to them the site, we had a client who asked recently, he wanted to cash out and he didn't want. We explained to him after he said he wanted to keep the Bitcoin. He found it interesting, the technology. These are people that don't know crypto. They don't know in general, but just playing with $10 on our website. There's people who don't know nothing about crypto that use Bitcoin more than 99% of everyone else who's talking about Bitcoin on Twitter, just using playing 3 minutes.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Pete, actually, I've got a question here from you from Alex Fidel. He wants to know, do you have UFC betting yet?
I have the odd we made for UFC betting. We have the odds. We're just going through the little final CSS changes, and it will be up this week for sure before Saturday. Before the next UFC event, we will have UFC betting. So you can bet before the matches and also live during the UFC events.
Awesome.
I
placed a bet for Victor Wembanyama to win the NBA's MVP this year. I think it's a long shot, but hey, non-zero chances.
Yeah, I love looking at the sports. I grew up in like a pool hall, atmosphere, pool hall, going watching sports games on Monday nights with your friends at the bar, and you always put a little bit of money on the game just to make it a little more interesting. That's the whole point of the game. It's not to start betting large sums of money. This is just to have fun. You can bet quickly, instantly. You get paid back instantly too. It's a great way to, I think, to even just demonstrate the power of Bitcoin. It's when people, when they see it, when they get paid back, a lot of people think it's just, the normal system that we have now where you just credit someone, $5 or you won $6 and it's just an entry in an accounting book. This is on chain. All the transactions are on chain and you can see it.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. And we are now over the halfway mark here. So please bring your questions in the chat box, guys, so we can answer them for you as we continue in the second half of our show. I know we've already kind of touched on this. We've talked a bit about affiliates and referral programs and this kind of thing, but I wanted for you guys to go a little bit deeper into that and educate our crowd here on how they can earn some money as an affiliate and how your programs potentially are different than what some affiliates out there might be used to. Miles, I'm going to start with you because I know you've got kind of a different way of doing this. I think it's very interesting. So tell me what kind of referral programs you've got going on there at Champions TCG.
Yeah, we're still like tweaking it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the main thing is we can, our affiliates could be things like individuals, it could be, influencers, or it could be physical game stores. So, we can go into these physical game stores, we can come to an agreement. We're putting these cards on chain because we're using BSV for, thousands of pennies. So there's essentially zero cost. So, we can go into some of these game stores, immediately be their highest margin item. They have to put no money down. They don't have to have any inventory on the shelves. And, we can split revenue, say 50-50 with them on, these card packs. So pack sells for $3.50. The store gets, $1.75 of that. And then the big thing that's like getting a lot of attention with these influencers and stores like that is the fact that we can pass along royalties to them for like, in perpetuity for any card they sell. So some of the viewers might be, more familiar with like Pokemon or something like that. But one of the top cards is Charizard. The first editions sell for, a couple $100,000, $300,000 sometimes. So, say one of these stores sold a Charizard to their customer and it sold, for $100,000 or something, we can pass along, 2% royalties on that card. It sells again in 5 years, and they just, it creates a new, revenue model, not only for physical game stores, but we think this is an interesting avenue, with influencers and stuff like that, creates a whole new, revenue for them as well. Whereas Hearthstone, they're using credit cards and all that. And some of the problems that Handcash is solving where, you have to, every month you have to come in, see how much they sold, and do it all manually. By working with Handcash, these things come in immediately and it's paid directly to their account. And we don't have to, be money transmitters or anything like that. So there's a lot of opportunities, I think, here to, kind of like change these referral and affiliate programs, inside gaming and a lot of other products as well.
That's so awesome. And Miles, can you give us an idea of how the popularity level of your game so far? How many cards are being sold? I don't think I even asked you that yet, just so the audience knows.
So, we launched a initial set of, 40,000 cards, 10,000 on BSV, 30,000 on BTC. Those like sold out immediately. This next set that we launched, I don't know, it's 2-3 weeks ago now. It was 1 million cards. The idea is to like have some cards on the shelves. We've sold out 300,000 of those. So it's bought us some time to, ramp up our interface, our lobby. And then, as we're going and talking to these stores, when we say, oh, they're sold out, they're going to go back, it's like a confusing concept. So, there's cards on the shelves and we can walk them through that whole process. But there's of this next set of 1 million, like 300,000 have been sold so far. And we're really about to like kick off this marketing campaign within the next like 5 or so days. We've got partnered with some like major influencers, and we're about to get crazy into, the advertising on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that.
Awesome. I love it. Pete, I want to talk about your affiliate program. And this is where I get really excited because I started off in the iGaming affiliate industry in 2005, long time ago. And I remember how painful it was getting paid by all the operators back then. But tell me what you're doing over there when it comes to affiliates.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest, I love parts of I love about the site is that just with the sharing of a link, if you get someone registered on the site, every time they place a bet, you automatically get a little bit of their bet sent to you. So we have, as of right now, usually when sports books, if you notice, you can't turn on the TV without seeing a sports book making an affiliate offer saying, if you deposit $5, we'll give you 200. Or there's all these gimmicks that they're using to get you to register on their site and deposit money into their site, and then they promise you the world. If you were to try to withdraw the site, the money, they give you problems. They'll tell you you need to bet it or something along those lines. What they usually do also is they pay you based on if your affiliate won or lost. So either you win if they lose, or you win if he wins, something like that. What we're paying is we pay the person instantly once the other person places the bet. So for example, if Alex registered with the site with an affiliate, when he placed a bet for Victor Wembanyama to win the MVP of the futures, someone would have got a percentage of the bet he placed. So if he bet $1, someone would have received 1 to 3 cents, depending on their affiliate percentage.
Yes, now I'm really going to have to reach into the memory bank here, but when I was working in the affiliate world in the online gambling space, there were two ways that you'd get paid. One was a CPA, it was the cost per acquisition. So if there was a player that went and deposited, you'd get a certain amount of money, but that player would have to have a minimum spend, right? And then the other one was revenue share, which was you get a percentage of that player's losses.
Losses, yeah.
But if that player wins, you get nothing.
Negative.
Nothing. And it was monthly that we would get paid out either via CPA or the revenue share. And it wouldn't come at the end of the month. It would maybe be 1 day later, 3, 4, 5 days later. And then it would be some check from like some bank in Hong Kong or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So what you're saying, for those that are not familiar with how it works in the online gambling space in the affiliate world, what you're saying, Pete, is like amazing. You just so easy. Affiliates, take notice of this. Love it. Love it. Alex, do you have anything to add about the affiliate world, the referral world from Handcash, or when perspective?
Yeah,
of
we
clients,
are.
Perhaps.
I think most of our clients have a revenue, referral program that they use our infrastructure to do their payouts. As I said before, it's very simple to add as many recipients as you want for any payment. So that's what makes it super easy to actually automate from your own UI in a few minutes. Ironically, our own referral program, we've been running it for about 2 years. Right now, we are transitioning it to a new formula with the portal. So it is down currently. But what we do is that for every user that you help us bring to the platform, every time that they that they perform an operation where we get paid, like on the market or doing buying Bitcoin or whatever, and on any of those operations, we share a percentage of our earnings with the referrer. So we are basically adding this kind of incentive system inherently and in a link that you can share. So every time that you bring more people to the platform, we reward you no matter there's no minimum. So like what you were saying about the minimum or once per month or whatever, we do it live. So if that person tops up their account or whatever, you get paid instantly in the same payment. And I think it's pretty cool that you can basically program this in such an easy way. There's even one of the companies that are using Handcash, Tonic Pau, that basically is just a UI to actually do great referral programs, very easy to do for anything. And anyone can create their own referral programs in just a few clicks. I think it's magical that you can do these things right now with current technology.
I love the term magical. It is. It's very cool. And I know also from my experience in the affiliate world that one of the issues that we had also was the statistics and the data that you were seeing on the back ends of these operators' affiliate websites. It's like it would tell you that this many players came through, but like how do you know that that's real, or they're shaving the numbers or whatever. So I wanted to get into a little bit about off and on-chain transactions and having all of this data on-chain so people can look at it. Pete, I know you mentioned before that everything is on-chain, all the transactions, everything, you can look at it and see it. So just can you tell us a bit about why you've decided to do that, what benefits you think it provides to have everything on-chain?
I think it offers transparency. It also teaches people about the blockchain, what is going on. Like we have links you can look at the blockchain explorer right from our website to look at any transaction. For example, with the Plinko transactions, I think learning about if you like, it's there. It's like if it's there, you can go and look and learn about the blockchain transactions. The majority of transactions I've made in the past using Bitcoin was with a phone in my hand, looking at the blockchain. So I would have the QR code, and that's how I used like Bitcoin. I would have my phone point it to a QR code on my telephone screen, and send the payment. So that's the way I think. Bitcoin. I grew up. I understood using Bitcoin in this way, and it went away. I remember even Alex a while back was against QR codes. I think he's changed his mind, but when he said that, I was remembering, like, one of the things I remember, like, what changed here? Because before, when I would use it, that's how I would use it. I would use the blockchain, looking at it, and again, Bitcoin is not anonymous; it's private, right? So we need to, enhance the privacy features of it in order for people to transact, for it to be transparent if needed, and on chain if needed. If needed, you can show someone a transaction and prove your identity. I think that's very good for, especially for the gaming and gambling world. Instead of being
sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Pete. Sorry, I just cut you off.
This is, instead of being shady and having to trust people who are not always trustworthy.
Yeah, we don't want shady. But Miles, the reason why I was going to go to you next is I know that you've made a decision, at least for now, not to put all of the transactions and the movement of the cards on chain just yet, but you do have the cards themselves on chain. Can you just tell us why you've made this decision and where you're at in that journey?
Yeah, I mean, the movement of the cards. So if they're sent from one wallet to another, that's all on chain. We're just, we want people to be incentivized. If they sold a card, then they can go get into all the blockchain stuff. Like, it's not what's currently happening in, what our competitors are doing. So like, we don't see any reason to like rush that. It adds, development time onto what we're doing. Like, our main focus right now, we are a small team, is just like shipping like a world-class product that, stands on its own, just in the trading card niche of gaming. To accomplish these marketplace things and stuff like that, the cards have to be on chain. We need to verify that people actually own these cards. So, we're using APIs to make sure the wallet owns the card. Otherwise people could just enter the game with whatever cards that they want. So, we're just like lightly using it, but it's a conscious step that we've taken just because of the feedback that we've gotten. We don't see any reason. What I was talking about earlier is like, you attack a certain card, we can go crazy with what we put on chain. It's a turn-based game, so it's super simple for us to track everything on chain, but it's just like, we'd be solving a problem that we don't think needs to be solved currently. Like, no one's carrying on Hearthstone to go back and like look at that kind of data. So that's kind of our stance on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I know that a lot of the people that come from the BSV world or the blockchain world, they're like, put everything on chain, or this many transactions were generated. And the person who owns that company is like the big celeb of the week. But Alex, I wanted to hear your opinion on this. I mean, do you think everything should be going on chain? Should we be having some on chain, some not on chain? What do you think?
I mean, not everything, but the most critical things need to be on chain, and that's what we do. The thing is that not every single thing that you I've seen companies even taking it to the absurd of actually having their console logs on chain. Yeah. So they can show off that they are processing millions of transactions per day where just logs, right? So for example, what we do at Handcash is that all payments we process are on chain. Because it's great for us. We can outsource security, double spend protection, traceability, accurate accounting. And in case that something goes wrong on our database, the blockchain always has the last word. And with digital items, it's the same thing. It's like, although they are heavier and depend on the indexers for one-shot ordinals, we have our database layer for great UX, but all the items and transactions are all on chain. So even if we lost our database, we can recreate who owns what almost immediately. And it is our common source of truth. And I think also another benefit of this is that this protects games against people trying to use fake or hacked items, and which is something that's kind of a big deal in the gaming sector. Like a few months ago, there was a huge scandal in the Pokemon World Tournament because they had to disqualify like 10% of the players that they bought a ticket and went to Yokohama in Japan to attend to the World Tournament, and they discovered like 10% of the players were using hacked Pokemon, and that's something that can be easily prevented by using something like what we're providing with the blockchain.
Very good. Thank you. And can you actually, just for those in our audience that don't know, can you describe what one-sat ordinals are really quickly, Alex?
Yeah, so Bitcoin itself, it doesn't have like a way of handling data or sending packets of data in a structured way that we all can agree on. So you need a protocol that says like, okay, so let's agree on this way of handling data for moving digital items around, right? So one of the latest, and I think the one that got the most adoption besides what we had a few years ago that was called Run. We have this protocol called one-sat ordinals, and it's what is powering Champions TCG cards, for example. Like we add an image, some attributes like the rarity of the card and some of the things that make the card interesting, and all of that is inside a file that's inside the blockchain. To explain it in a very easy way to understand, but I think it's kind of a digital file that's inside a Bitcoin transaction, and users can have the ownership and transfer the ownership of that file without our consent, and that's pretty cool. That's what makes all of this technology important, because it allows users to have commerce between themselves without having a third party intervening.
Yeah, and like both you and Miles said, the users don't even really need to know this is going on. It just works, right?
No. All of this one-shot thing or whatever, it's in the background. It's even in the background of our marketing. We don't even want to mention it.
No.
So if you go to seriously, we are having a lot of discussions internally, both of our teams, because we want to go in the same direction. And finally, we got a partner that's even. I think Champions TCG is the only company that we've partnered with to this day that they are even more hardcore than us on trying to appeal to normal people. So we are trying to slash every single time that we use the word Bitcoin, blockchain, NFT, or whatever out of every, because if you're selling cards, you're selling cards. You don't need to talk about blockchain or TCP/IP or any of that bullshit. No, nobody cares.
No, I definitely agree with that. And Pete, I know that you told me that in order to show people how cool it is, the Bitcoin technology, you don't even need to talk about Bitcoin. You literally just would open up a wallet and show them. I think kind of like Roger Ver style, Bitcoin Jesus back in the day.
I remember there was one point Roger Ver went on TV and he put a QR code on live TV and said, whoever gets these Bitcoins, whoever can scan this thing here can get the Bitcoins. He was on live TV. That blew my mind when I seen stuff like that. I was like, wow, you can do live money giveaways on TV. Like, it opened up so many ways of thinking. And this was initially, but if you go back and read on Reddit, every day there was a new crazy idea that was being announced about Bitcoin. I used to sit there, like, I'm a little older than, but 18-year-old kids were proposing things that were blowing my mind. I had my mouth open looking at it, like, wow. Like, this was when even Vitalik was a Bitcoin guy. He didn't create Ethereum yet. He was probably thinking of it, but I was always amazed and waiting. And, everything was imminent. Even the apps that were being built out, like Satoshi Dice, they had so much success. And the devs just killed it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Even now, like, you talk to people about Bitcoin and apps, and they have no idea. I think I'm convinced that people think that crypto is the gambling, is the trading of the coins itself, and not something else. It's, I'm guessing this coin is going to be worth more than this coin tomorrow. They don't have no reason. When you ask them, they have no reason to think this, or even if they do have a reason, it's a stupid reason. It's because he heard something about, so he heard something is going to happen tomorrow. There's no.
Yeah. No, this is why I love that I have the three of you here today, because you've got actually, like I said, something that you can see how it works, and it's out there for people to use today. I know, Alex, when we were in New York City, you started off your presentation by saying that there was, I think it was a QR code that you could scan, and you got Handcash, I think it was $5 worth straight into the wallet. And it's like people that were not familiar with how to use it are like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's there in 2 seconds. It's like old school style. Love it. I do have a question that I wanted to get to. Just a few minutes left. Sorry if I cut you off there, Pete. It's from Senor Bruce. Yes. Are you going to be doing physical card room soon? Opening. Yeah, you can read the question.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we get that from time to time. I mean, definitely possible. But yeah, like kind of our angle on all this is we want to do everything that's possible. In physical cards, like on chain, we think people are, on digitally. So trading and all of that, like people have been going the physical route because it still allows the trading and selling of cards and stuff. But we think if we can solve that digitally, it's just much less friction. We don't have to go through printing and packaging and shipping and all that market research to see exactly, where they're at. We just put them, on our site, and anyone anywhere in the world can buy them. It would be quite the undertaking to start, trying to ship these all over the world. And, we have a small team. So this allows us, a team of 4 people to compete with these, companies owned by Hasbro and things like that.
Very good. Thank you. And in the couple minutes that we have left, just wanted to finish off on a nice high note, talking about the importance of a community feel in order to get your companies and your brands out there, getting the word spread. I think Miles, it was you and I that talked about this in New York. You were talking about how that's a super important with what you're doing over at Champions TCG. And I know Joe DePinto of Haste, he talks about actually even just people within our space, within the BSV space, people developing and putting these games together to work together and have a nice a community feel towards what we're doing. So Miles, talk to me really quickly about that, and I'll just go around before we finish our hour to all of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of our project, the community. We, one of the angles of our project is we try to tap into all these communities. We've launched on Bitcoin. We've talked with like the Litecoin developers, Dogecoin, to kind of tap into these different communities, because it doesn't matter, where the cards are. But that's kind of like, our angle here. And like, BSV can come through and just shine on its own if more companies kind of take that angle of doing that. But yeah, the community that's built around our project up to this point's great. And yeah, we appreciate all the feedback we've gotten till now. And yeah.
Great. Alex, anything to add there?
Sorry, what was the question? Because I thought the question was for Mike.
You're reading all the comments? I'm laughing at some of the stuff you wrote.
Yeah, I was looking at the internal chat box.
Just the importance of a community feel in order to grow the ecosystem.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's super important for us. We've never spent 1 cent on promoting Handcash, and maybe we've done some kind of giveaway or whatever, but most of that it's for demo purposes, so people can try out the technology and how cool it is that you can use these apps and all that. But we've got this far only with thanks to our community. They're our biggest fans, and they're promoters, they're our evangelists, and they're spreading the word, because I think that we created something quite unique. And I think it's, even though we will spend money when the product we think that is ready for the for big audiences, I mean, I always be thankful for every single one of you that has sent a penny to someone else just to show them how cool this technology is. I think that it's we discussed that internally in Handcash, that we wouldn't be here without the support that we had from the community, and it's we're very thankful for that, and I think it's crucial.
Awesome. And Pete, what would you like to add about community?
With the community, we were built out using the community. We looked at the games that were being built out, the apps. We gave it to our friends, and so with the community, it was what led us to build out the games we have built up to now, and it's going to be guiding what we're going to be building in the future. So obviously with the Bitcoin community, it's great, but we're looking to also get to a bigger community getting to use the crypto as well. So.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. That is our hour. I can't tell you how much fun I had talking about my favorite subject in the world with 3 of the most amazing people in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your questions. Please don't forget to subscribe to the CoinGeek channel, and we will see you next time.
On this week's CoinGeek Conversation, Yves Merch, former member of the Executive Board of the European Central Bank.
I would say CBDC for the moment seems more to be a kind of payment systems that is complementary to cash. Mm-hmm. And it is not meant to replace any existing financial instruments, but to maintain the foot in the door that central banks have right now with cash in the system, in the future with digital cash.
Join Yves Merch and me, Charles Miller, for my next CoinGeek Conversation.